What's up? Can you hear yourself? All right, can you hear yourself?
Yes.
Okay. You got to talk into it just a little bit. You want to raise
this?
it a little bit?
Yeah. Okay.
Wendy, thank you for coming. Wendy Shew's in the building.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, man. I've been referred to you by my friend Josie. I got some homework on you. So you're very active. You're an entrepreneur. You're Asian. You're an American. You're female.
Yeah. What kind of research do you have?
I got TMZ research, girl. We went deep.
Okay.
No, but you're interesting, man. And not a lot of people like you. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but like I'm out there. I'm always active. I'm busy. And then I don't meet a lot of people like you. I'm always talking to my clients, you know what I mean? And then here you come along and I see what you got going on. You're doing a lot. You're very active. I like your Instagram. You promote health and well-being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot about that. What did you read about being active? I didn't post. I feel like I didn't post that much, but
well, I mean, it's more what kind of Josie filled me in on more than anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Health is a big part of my lifestyle. I have always kind of been an athlete since a very young age. I did gymnastics when I was young.
Ooh, gymnastics.
Yeah, and it helped me during a really hard time, during the time of my mother's passing. So it's kind of been ingrained in me. So, yeah.
Sorry about your mom.
Sports, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't see it as a loss.
I went through a loss recently, too, and it's tough.
I'm sorry to hear.
You can't. Someone can tell you, but you only, like, really feel people that be like, yo, I lost my mom. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But, I think I have a different way of looking at it. Wait, who did you lose? I'm sorry.
My dad, like 3 Thursdays ago.
Oh, my gosh.
That's pretty recent. Yeah.
That's really tough.
Yeah. Well, like, everything happens at once. The funeral expenses, they have, it's crazy. But, yeah. But go ahead.
I'm sorry to hear.
No worries. Yeah.
But I think I look at loss in a very different way. Like, I don't think that there really is a loss in life. It's just a transition in a relationship, right?
Are you Buddhist?
I'm not.
That's so stereotypical. I'm sorry. Because she's Asian. No, but are you like, that's a Buddhist-like view, right?
I'm very spiritual. So, like, I learned about Buddhism, like Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism in different countries, like Nepal and India and stuff. Really love religion in general. I would say I'm more spiritual, though. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I feel that.
Lately, since coming back to San Francisco, it's like everybody around me is Christian. Are you Christian?
Well, I grew up Christian, Presbyterian. You know, the white people had service right after us Koreans, and that's like the church that my mom took to every Sunday. It was cool, man.
Of course, Korean. You're definitely more than
definitely. I mean, my mom dragged me, and my dad was like, "You don't have to go," and I wanted to make my mom happy. She went by herself, so. But I didn't. I had a tough upbringing with the church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't agree with how people viewed and vindicated me because I was like more urban and music prone.
I actually agree with that. And it's funny because when I started learning more about Christianity, one thing that really bothered me was like that there's the devil and that there's evil, because I don't believe in that.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah. There's only goodness. There's only light. Like, we are born of light. That's what
This is all levels. This is all like, we have these tough decisions. And we got to make decisions that necessarily don't make us rich, but we know it's right. Those I feel like are gifts to the next level, to the next humans or better race, just choices, and you make shittier choices. Maybe you come back as a skunk or something. I don't know.
That's a Buddhist. That's a
Buddhist like thing, right?
Really Buddhist. Yeah, that's Buddhist.
Probably picking and choosing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think, no offense, but I feel like, religion sometimes, depending on who dictates it, comes with a lot of judgment. And I don't think God is about
totally.
that.
You're 100%. 100%. That's just what I didn't like. Is like, the yin and the yang. And so I deal with it like hip hop. They say is this evil and what it is, but I see a lot of beauty in it. A lot of the artists that I talk to, some come out of jail, but they're doing music to kind of do a hobby that they didn't know about, and it's positive, and it's a good source system. I like artists. They're really like, I don't know. They kind of get it because they're always expressing what they want on paper. And
Yeah.
not everyone can do that. I talk to a lot of friends. They don't know how to express problems. They hold it in. Artists just express it. Everyone needs to express just their problems.
Especially Asians. And I
Yeah, we're the most. We don't. Yeah. We're not. You're spiritual. I feel it, but not a lot of us are.
No, and I think we suppress it, which then leads to problems like later on, right? Because
Totally.
we like blow up like anger management issues. But going back when you said about hip hop or rap has a negative connotation, one saying that I heard from one of my mentors was like, everything in life is neutral, and things are only positive or negative because we give meaning to it. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what life is, right? Like if it has a negative connotation to us, then why?
Yeah.
Like look from within. Like why does it have a negative connotation?
I think it's America and the way cartoons were brought. There's a good, there's a bad, there's a gray, there's a evil.
So true.
And like, so we've glorified that. Now we're backwards as a society. We've instilled in it so much. Now America as a society glorifies the villain.
Yes.
And now we're looking for the villain to do right.
Even the election, I was like, I was telling. Sorry, but look at it. It was like super like.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I did vote, you know, but it was definitely like, I was like, what is this? Like, what am I watching? Is this like a series?
I knew it was coming to that. I knew it was coming.
It was crazy. I was like, I feel like I'm watching a movie.
Like, politics is the most embedded field that Hollywood should go into because these politicians are so dry and we're voting on their swag.
Yes.
And that's just the weird, like when they come up, that guy is so dry. That's all we say. We don't read anything they're doing. It's all fake news. So we're just swag monitoring. And when Donald Trump came in, I'm like, it's already coming to this. You know, they don't really, content creators don't stand a chance against Hollywood, people coming into their field, and politicians either. And so Trump just took advantage of having good press.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And he's taking advantage of this time too.
Yeah.
Like every opportunity he can get.
He's going to be huge after this presidency.
He is.
The shows.
He is.
He's going to go back to NBC. Now he's going to be called the president. That show's going to be crazy. And
I would watch it.
Yeah, you're like, well, we're voting for my next vice president. That's what we're doing this for. And you're like, what? So he's smart. He gets it. America loves to destroy you and then build you up again.
That's very true. We definitely come. What is that? The underdog.
Yeah.
Right? The underdog. That's kind of like our theme, right?
Were you the underdog? Like, you know?
Oh,
in a sense,
I was the
up,
underdog.
for sure.
Yeah.
In the fields you're coming up in, there's not a lot of probably entrepreneurial Asian women, men don't know how to take you in a higher up field, and I'm sure they treat you as exotic or, you know, do you get that or?
I actually don't really pay attention too much. Actually, but you're right though, because like as you know, I'm an NGO founder. I'm a nonprofit founder.
We'll go into that.
And we are. And I think there's many different types of nonprofits. There's some that is like very simplistically charity. It's like, okay, here's money, we're going to donate it. But my nonprofit specifically, we're here to provide innovative solutions to global solutions to problems in the world. And I think when I look at other organizations that do something within that same capacity, most of the founders are like people that have graduated from Cambridge or Oxford, and they have studied.
What do they know about helping people, right? Like, are they with the people? That's what. Yeah, like that's a good point you brought up.
There's
man.
males, like a lot of males with a lot of ego that judge. They're like, oh, like, well, I studied this and I know better than you, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
I feel like a lot of those guys aren't doing it for like to help you. They're just doing it for like credibility or to help their business look out, maybe, or know.
and for reputation, I feel like.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like people that are poor that help people, they're more credible.
Oh, thank you.
I just hate to say it, like, because you're from them, what they're going through. When you see like rich people like just helping people in this money, it doesn't seem as authentic. I don't know. It's just not really into it.
Yeah, like they can't empathize with people.
Yeah, they're the guys who ask you for $1 at Walmart when you buy something. Want to donate $1? And I'm like, no, I do charity work. Like, that's wrong that you're asking me and making me feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, I actually do charity work.
Yeah,
so
like,
what
is this?
What is $1? Tell me about this education thing, because it's fascinating. That you're going around the world doing schools. setting them up, which I think is crazy to me because I'm talking to a lot of kids that come from other international places, and they're like, "Believe, you got to vote because we don't even have schools, man." I'm like, man, like my mom telling me in Korea, like, yeah, we didn't have schools. Yeah, it was poor, man. Like, you think in America, there's not schools out there. You doing it because of that? You're going to really poor areas that don't have it?
Yeah, to developing countries. So right now our main focus is Nepal. We definitely want to spread out to the other Asian countries.
Nepal's in India, right?
It's right above India. So it's right below
They look
China.
Asian?
Actually, they do. So they look to the north, right? Because they're right below China. They look Chinese.
They're darker, though.
To the south, and to the south because they're above India, then they look Indian. So it's a mix,
right?
And you have a lot of Tibetans, and you'd be surprised. Like Tibetans look a lot like you and I, like same color,
right?
But yeah, essentially what happened was I used to be in the aviation aerospace industry, and I ended up,
You were flying?
You know what? I logged over 80 plus hours in a single engine propeller. And so I know how to fly. I didn't officially get my private pilot's license yet. I will probably pursue that. But I love flying.
Yeah.
Aviation's a passion of mine. But then after school, when I graduated, I was like, okay, well, what do I want to do? I wanted to pretty much aviation business, international business. And brought in like $5 million for my CEO that year, and was like, "Why am I bringing it in for this man to make him richer?"
You did sales.
Sales, yeah. I was a jet engine specialist. Yeah,
jet.
I was a
That's pretty freaking
manager.
cool. So you're good at math and all that.
Not really.
No, okay. Because that's the assumption. You're working on jet engines.
Well, we're Asian, so I think we're better than.
That's totally the assumption. Like when you walk into a car dealership and they're all stymieing for you, and I'm like, I got bad credit, bro. I'd back up off of me. No, so you're not good at math, but you go with mechanics though. Like you can fix a car with doing all that, or
no, not like that. It was more like project management, right?
Okay.
So
all right.
a lot of research, market research, and international business development.
For sure.
So, but I feel like a lot of the times we never go for the things that we're good at. We're always like, okay, let's develop a career in the thing that we suck at, but we learned.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that, Wendy? I did that.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did. So I thought it was cool. I want to be that guy, and I'm like, I'm not that guy.
But you are. I think that's cool.
What?
Yeah, that's cool.
About what?
Whatever it is that you wanted to, like hip hop and art.
Well,
and
no, I was doing web design. I did web design before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you not passionate about it?
I mean, it was great. Like the first job I had, we got this. We were pitching it. We started in a garage. We're developing a website to have Japanese kids learn English, but this language part of it. And so this company picked us up. They gave us a $5 million advance and all that. We blew through it. It was weird. I didn't like it. And it's very cutthroat.
You know what I think it is?
Very
why we
cutthroat.
start that way?
Yeah.
It's probably ego driven, right?
It is.
Kind of.
Yeah. Like everyone at this level, kind of doesn't know what's going on. But as long as you know a little bit and enough is that. And it's politics. And I hate that shit. I mean, just to me, I felt dead. Like every time I'm in office, I feel dead.
Me too.
Like what you said. Oh, yes. I'm helping. Like that's a crazy shit they do. Hey, we make $7 million. All you do if you're really knowing, you go, am I really wasting my time here, bro? Like that's something companies you gotta figure out. Like, bro, okay, this is what made me quit my last company, bro. They had a good year, right? At the end of the year, they're like, hey, Brian, we're going to take you out to a Brazilian steakhouse. And they did. And they invited your friend, and they paid for the dinner. It's like $1,200. I'm just like,
why don't you just give me a raise?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Because y'all celebrating this win.
Yeah.
The owners are.
Yeah.
We're still getting paid the same, and I'm not getting paid for this dinner. So.
Well, the crazy thing is I was relatively new, right? So I'm just one out of 300 employees. I'm bringing in $5 million for the CEO that's nothing to him, right?
It's nothing to him.
It's nothing to him. It's nothing to
rich.
him. He's rich, and I was like, wait, I'm just making him richer. Why can't I do that for something that I actually care about?
You for sure can.
Yeah.
You for sure can.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you're young, right?
I'm
sorry, what, right? You look I'm not going to ask your age on air and all that. But you're young, you're in the field, you're entrepreneurialism, and you just had that moment I don't want to work for you. I want to do it myself. First years were rough?
As an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Or
You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What is your
I'm an
company?
entrepreneur. Building Education.
Okay.
So we're a nonprofit organization, but we run it with a for-profit model because that's the only way it's sustainable.
It's really
right?
not for-profit is
No.
really the term, right? Or nonprofit, because those are two different things, right? Not for-profit, nonprofit.
So it's nonprofit, meaning that our mission essentially is to serve the community and not to make a profit. However,
That's tough.
it is, but that's why we run it with it's so like a charity, right? Like let's say it's like, oh, you know, some cute charity that went. Sorry, excuse me.
Oh, some cute charity. We'll cut that out there.
Some charity that wants to like, you know, like they're older and they just want to give back, right? And they just like collect money. They're like, oh, cool, let's collect
I know
money
exactly
and give
what
it,
you're talking
give
about,
it
yeah.
irresponsibly to children in India.
Red Cross,
as an example, right? So there's that type of charity, which is like definitely nonprofit, and they definitely like don't have, maybe they have a for-profit model, but then there's other organizations that like, okay, if I'm going to be putting my time in full time and I'm going to be constantly looking for more innovative solutions and I'm going to be hiring people and I'm going to be constantly developing and evaluating and monitoring these projects and trying to scale, then you have to have a for-profit model, right?
You do. That's great forward thinking. That's forward thinking, though.
Yeah.
Well, every business is going to a hybrid type of state. You need to adopt other philosophies. Certain stigmas about nonprofit can be judgmentally positive or negative.
Yeah.
And so I think like hybriding the system helps that. Right.
Yeah. And I actually hate the way I strongly dislike the way that people view nonprofits and charities.
Yeah, because some people have negative view toward them.
They do, and they think that like just because you're a nonprofit, that means you shouldn't get paid, and that's not realistic.
You should hella get paid.
You should
hella get paid. But the thing is, you're showing people what you're getting paid. Tell me any business model that will show you that. Like, there's no boss that shows you, hey, this is the profits.
Yeah.
What I brought, and this is what you guys made.
Yeah, and usually we're like all nonprofits are fully transparent of where the financials go and what our process is. So.
I think they're great. Other people want to get involved. They want to help. They don't want to head the project themselves. They can get involved with a nonprofit, you know. And nonprofits, there are various kinds. So you got to look into the people running it and get a feel for them and go with them, right? And,
I think so.
In their direction. How many hours a day you spend a day, and how many days a week you spend on your business?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like I just live, eat, sleep, breathe it.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like already working on it, and before I go to sleep at night, I'm like probably working on it. But I'm also a coach, right? Like that's how I sustain myself right now because
life coach.
I'm a life coach, yeah, because I don't receive any salary from the organization right now.
Got you.
So,
ouch.
yeah.
Well, how much work do you put into that organization?
Oh, a lot. I would say like 90% of my.
Wendy, why are you doing it? I could hire you as an engineer here, Coach, let you know.
I love the work I do. And it's funny that you say that because like I literally just moved back to San Francisco. So I've been gone for 12 years and I had to make a decision, you know, when COVID happened. It was like either I'm going to come back to San Francisco and I'm going to grow this organization and scale and build 100 schools in the next 3 years, or I can go back to Spain with my boyfriend at the time, move into an estate, live a happy life.
That's not a bad life, girl.
I know. It was on an island
and they live good in Spain.
Oh my God, it was so good.
You know how to live.
I lived on this island next to Ibiza. I know you. I
haven't traveled the world. Only went to Korea.
You know Ibiza. You've heard of Ibiza. It's like that party island.
Yeah, I don't party.
Okay. But it's this island. It's a beautiful island.
I have heard of it. Yeah, rappers do mention that. Yes. I've heard it in a flow. Just as you said, oh, Ibiza, girl. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
I took a pill in Ibiza. That's a song, right? I took a pill in
I think so. Yeah. Did you do that?
No. No, I did not. But,
okay.
So essentially, I had to make a decision when COVID hit. Like, am I going to grow my organization or am I going to settle down and start a family or something with this
every girl
guy.
wants to do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Spain.
It was a beautiful
cultured.
life. It was a beautiful life.
Yeah.
But then
let's call him on the line right now.
I chose San Francisco. I'm still his friend. We could.
You got a surprise guest.
He doesn't speak English though, so.
Well, he spoke Spanish?
Yeah, I speak Spanish. Yeah.
You speak Spanish?
I speak Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. You learned because of that situation or prior to the situation?
I was learning prior, and then I think when I met him, things just cemented. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to learn a language, the easiest way is to get
with
a boyfriend
someone.
or girlfriend.
Yeah, get with someone, right? Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
learn quick. And you're motivated.
You're motivated.
Because the reward system is making your partner happy. And I'm sure every time you learn the word and use it, he got, oh, that's good.
Yeah. You get like, it's like you're in the infatuation stage too, right?
Yeah.
Our first month, we were like communicating just on Google Translate.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I was dating a girl that didn't know English. She was actually looking to marry someone here because she wanted to start a soybean company from Brazil and station the soybeans here and then sell it. It was crazy. She's
Wait,
crazy.
what was she?
She's Korean. She's half Korean Japanese, but she didn't know a lick. She cried. I told her, you crazy, man. You're not Japanese, bro. Like, no one I know from your country just hang out at a bar and talk to people, try to get married and start this bit. Like, she was crazy.
Oh my gosh, she was
here?
Crazy.
Yeah, I met her here because I used to throw events. So like, I used to throw out this little Korean bar, and that's where I met her.
Oh, she was driven.
Very, like, remind me of something like, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Men maybe don't know how to take you guys. It's very intimidating because some men are driven, and you almost be like compensated to that. You ain't got to be driven, honey.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think that's only that's the culture here, right? Like in Spain, my ex-boyfriend was like super mellow. I mean, he has everything, right? Like his family has a lot of estates. He lives in island.
So he has no prejudgments, and he's well educated. He gets it.
Yeah, but he just there was like it's different because he like cooked and cleaned and stuff like that, and it was just like it's only people in the States. But you know what? I was the opposite. I found that because he had no drive and not so much ambition, he was like, yeah, you do you. Then I was like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, but that's good though, because in Spain they're like that. They're like, hey, it's whatever. We want to live life. I mean, try dating someone French.
I know.
They take 2 months out of the year off.
Do they?
Yeah, you don't know about that, huh?
No.
The whole country.
Wait, what?
Takes 2 months off. Like, summer break. The whole country does it. That's why people clown France. That's why we hate France.
But you know what?
They're lazy. I don't think they're lazy and they're all that. They just get life.
They get life because I feel like traveling to other countries, Asian countries are like, oh my gosh, America. But then you go to somewhere like Europe and they're like, ugh, Americans,
Yeah, but not us Americans. We're like the cool Americans.
We're the cool.
They
Americans.
mean the Walmart Americans that have the fat dripping over their kneecaps. That kind of.
Yes. But we're also too I think when we go into certain countries, people are like, Americans, we think that we know everything. We think that we know that we're better. We think.
They must have talked to the rappers here then. Yeah,
a little bit of ego.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of ego here. Well, the women feel that. There's certain hot girls in high school that like the guys with the ego, and I think that mess up a lot of people's psychology toward what women want, and that's why you see guys in the gym pumping iron, getting big, and I'm like, that's not what Maybe that's what y'all want. I don't know, but all y'all seem to want different stuff.
Yes, I think we all want different stuff. Yeah. Like some people want more surface level things, right?
Yeah. Some guys want the nerd guy, some guys want the skinny guy, some guys want a big guy. It just depends on, That's just what I noticed. Like everyone's trying to be something else. I'm like, bro, just wait. Just say you and wait.
Wait for the right one.
Wait for the right, because you're changing up, trying to match someone else's criteria because of whatever you girl last got at what she liked. And that's what you're trying to go off psychologically. I want to talk about the grading system with you.
Okay.
Because my friend's a principal, and I didn't go off on him, but I was just like, look, man, because the grading system for me as an Asian provided so much troubles in my household. My parents looked at me and said, okay, you got an A in history, but why can't you get, math? And I'm like, in my brain, when I went to trigonometry class, I'm like, I'm not going to use any of this shit. You know what I mean? And I'm more good at reading and stuff. And so I got beat. For like a C, and I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy, bro.
Which is a great grade.
It's a great grade because it's 70% of the information. So this is my whole point about grades is like, and we were talking about this before we started, and we should have started because that was goal what we were talking about. We'll go back to that hope, but I think grades are so messed up because you tell a kid, you only got 70% right, you're hella stupid. And that's false. He's not. You're giving a kid First of all, you're making these kids do advanced. You video game companies know it. These games are getting more advanced every year, and the kids are getting smarter every year. So we're making tough more advanced, and you see it. I don't know how to operate a PS5, but the 7-year-old does, and like he's like whizzing through this level. I'm amazed. And then when you get to school and you slow everything down, Timmy, and you tell him he's only paying attention 70% of the time on a curriculum you know is boring because you don't even want to be there. The teachers, the parents don't even want it. They walk away a quarter way into the Zoom like, this ain't for me. It's boring. And you do this system and be like, okay, the kids that are left, they get it. They're smart. That's a horrible system.
It is. And I think it just hasn't been updated, right? Like we've been using the same system for so long.
Who came up with this system?
I have no idea. But I think it's really, really outdated. Well, the interesting thing is, because as you know, I'm a life coach and I do a lot of NLP. And
What's NLP? I'm sorry, I don't.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
Whoa, girl, you just ran through that.
Sorry.
Okay, so
linguistic programming.
So that's the way your brain functions.
Yeah, it's basically the way that your brain functions. So it talks a lot. It shares a lot about like the subconscious and conscious mind.
Ooh, I like that.
Do you know Joe Dispenza?
Tell me though.
Okay, I love Joe Dispenza. He talks a lot about how the brain works. So like our conscious mind makes 10% of our decisions. That's where rational and logic.
How habits work. It sounds like how habits work. I read that book.
Yes, and then 90% is subconscious. So it's like how we're programmed, right? So words and the way that we say words and what we say, what comes out of our mouth is actually really powerful because that's how our subconscious mind is programmed. Right. So like even when you put levels like grades on things like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, there was one teacher who said like instead of putting F's and putting a fail, just say like not yet. It's not a fail. It's not a not pass. It's just a not yet. You're not there yet.
I love it.
And the psychology behind that is ingenious.
Yeah, not yet because you're developing.
You're developing and you're learning the skills to get there. I mean, I was a late developer, right? Like I was truant in high school.
Was that truant?
I was truant in high school.
What's truant mean?
Like I like cut school a lot.
That's cool. Hey, you're cool. Me too.
But I almost didn't graduate, which is funny that I'm now like in education.
Yeah.
But yeah, you too. What did you go do?
I went to Logan. I double lunched every day, which is because, we had this lunch. And then I told my counselor, I failed math every year. I told him, that sucks for me, bro, because I take summer school every year. And I don't have a chance to graduate because I'm like, that sucks. So he had actually let me pass, and I ended up not going to the practice, and it was a funny story. So I didn't go and get the letter during the L's because my last name is Lee, and my parents were pissed, bro, because they stood at the graduation and like didn't hear my name called. Like, I went up last, and they just left. It was funny.
Oh, really?
It's messed up. But yeah, go ahead. So you almost didn't graduate. What happened there? Like,
I think I was rebelling, right? So like, as I told you earlier, I lost my mother at a very young age, at 8, and then
at 8.
Yeah, I was 8. So I became kind of a rebel. Like I was in gymnastics for those years and it really helped me to heal. But then I think once they took me out of gymnastics, I was like, well, I got all this extra energy, just like started hanging around a bad crowd, which now looking back, I'm like, that crowd is still my friend and they're ambitious.
What's a bad crowd? Yeah, right, I mean, right. Like Jesus hung with the same crowd.
It was just we had different value.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. No, and I would label it the same way. Yeah. But yeah.
So I transferred to like I went from Lincoln, which was like a reputably good school, and transferred to 2 other schools, so like continuation schools, and then finally graduated from one of them. Yeah.
You were a bad kid.
I was a bad kid.
Looking at you, I give you the stereotypical Asian route, but that's cool.
You said double lunches. I've never heard of that, but that's really cool. I like.
Yeah, we get 2 lunches, and so the school, so it's like 4,000 kids. The high school, so they'd have to give us 2 lunches.
Oh, okay, I see.
So I always took the second lunch. I remember like someone was like, "This ain't your lunch?" I'm like, "No, I'm supposed to be taking French right now."
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I love that a double lunch. Well, I just didn't go.
Yeah, you weren't even on the school.
I didn't even show up. I would just be like, okay, let me go.
First through 6th. Not even hit the first period.
No.
What'd you do?
Straight to Chinatown to shoot pool.
You were a gangster chick? Damn.
No, I just really like to shoot pool.
That's what the gangster Asian chicks do, right? That's what the Asian gangsters do. Was you Asian gangster growing up? Or?
I mean, kind of. I guess kind of, right? I think we were pretend gangsters.
Chinatown sounds like they're y'all gangsters.
It was fun. I definitely had different life experiences. You know?
That sounds cool, actually.
Went down a dangerous path, and then so funny. You know, long story short, you know, was kind of like a substance abuser and all these things, and you know, like I was bad.
Perfect time to do it.
I was a rebel.
Perfect time to abuse substances that age. Yeah.
I'm lucky I only got like arrested, to be honest. Like nothing really happened to me. But education is what saved my life. So,
really?
Yeah.
Going back to it.
Yeah. Going to college, going back to
What college was that?
I went to LA, so I learned went to aviation school. So Southern Illinois University had a satellite campus for aviation management. So I studied commercial flight, aviation science.
So you watched Top Gun and you're like, I'm doing this. Like, you know, what
basically.
Because that's some military shit, right?
Well, okay, to be
or not, but
yeah. And I did watch. I really like Top Gun, but I think it was more based around woman empowerment because I was like, maybe I'll be a flight attendant. Like, what am I going to be? And then I was like, why am I selling myself short? Why don't I just be a freaking pilot? Because I had met a pilot that was a male, and he became like kind of a good influence on me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot for the moon. Like, why not?
Yeah. So that's amazing because not a lot of people do it. But then, like, God, it must be creepy, though, because as soon as you get there, you're like, hi, I'm a female pilot. I'm sure all the coworkers are like, hey.
Yeah.
It just becomes clouded for a female because you're trying to, I'll be honest, like, it's weird to see women entrepreneurs. Not that the fact that it's weird because I know what y'all going through. Like, y'all trying to advance, yet keep men somewhat feeling entitled to what they got to feel like because you can't totally just be hella... It's a tough thing for y'all. I'm just saying.
It is, and it's funny because like the way when you say that, like
how many girls were in your class?
I think it was statistically it's like 6% females, in aviation industry, 3% professional.
Oh my God!
It's male dominated.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and they make you feel dumb, like you don't know what you're doing.
Ooh,
right?
explain that. Explain that scenario. How do they do that?
Well, I mean. Aviation is a science, right? It's like not only do you have to learn how to fly a plane, you have to learn the science of it. You have to learn the mechanics of it because your life depends on that. So you're learning everything about what it takes to fly a plane, to fix a plane, the science behind a plane. Like, so, you know, men kind of often looked down, or the males in our class looked down on the women. You know, they'd be like, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're not going to fly. Like,
they don't say that.
No.
But they give that
seriously.
face, though.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that because, like, you know how Kamala Harris is now the vice president. So she comes onto the screen, and you know, my dad is the complete opposite of me, and he sees her on the screen, and he's like, literally, like, "Fuck you, bitch!" Like, I don't know why I whispered that, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
What political view? It doesn't mean anything.
It's his political view. He doesn't believe that women should be in power.
Yeah.
It's interesting though because he does support me. He doesn't say. I think he is proud of me, of how far I've come. But then when he sees any woman in leadership, he like cusses them out.
But if he saw you up there, well, how would he feel about that?
You know, that's what I know.
Well, that's. Right? I mean, I want to put your dad into that position, but I mean, he probably doesn't want to have that conversation. But if it came down to it, and some guy was like, "Your daughter shouldn't be no fucking boss of this college," I bet he'd have a problem with that, and I bet his mind would change. And that's what life is about to me. That's what life is about me. That's why we're here, right? Because your dad is this type of person. Like God or the spirits know that, and they're like, "I'm gonna give your dad Wendy."
Oh yeah, my dad is.
You know what I'm saying?
For real, like seriously. And I asked my dad, I'm like, who? Because he has me, and then he has my older sister, and then he also has his wife now, right? So it's like he's surrounded around females. I'm like, of course, because you're a male chauvinist.
Yeah.
Like that's what God would give to you.
Yeah.
And then you have me, and I ask him like, who's the most like you, and he's like, you are. So it's interesting.
Dude, that's beautiful. See, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. That he's against women empowerment and whoop. than he sees you.
Yeah.
You
but
know?
I have a super strong personality like him.
Yeah.
You know? So it's interesting to see that dynamic, because I'm like, okay.
Humbling, for sure.
Yeah, for him. Because he's like, well, at least I passed it on to somebody.
You better his relationship, I bet, with the wife he has now.
I hope so.
No, I think so. Because I know men like your dad. My dad was the same way. And it's just hard for them to get that kind of structure. They would grow up like, we do this. And that was good for them in their time.
Yeah.
You know, that was good for them in their time.
Yeah.
But we're heading to a shift.
Yeah.
We can't get to this shift if we don't empower everyone equally around us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what the interesting thing is? Because my organization is based in Nepal, so I am dealing with a lot of like patriarchal figures in Nepal.
Right.
So it's like I'm dealing with constantly my father in Nepal, right? Because, you know, the common society is like very patriarchal, where the man says everything even though he doesn't do anything, and he has control over everything.
Yeah, that boxes you in, and that kills you as a society. But go ahead.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I like now I'm making it in my head, but my dad has to deal with me. God gave him me, and God gave me all these other men in Nepal while I'm trying to like, you know, make a huge shift and difference in society. So
I think your mom's smiling knowing that, and that's what the story's about. That's what we get to see, is like, because you got to look at human structure. Why do we find that touching?
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some substance of realness and power and energy to it if we find it touching. The fact that, oh, your dad doesn't like women like that. Oh, he got a daughter that's just like that. Oh, this daughter's out there going to a male-dominated country and using that ability from your dad to defend rational, radical thinking for new ways of discovery. I mean, look, I get that, but like, this is where I'm at with anything, and positivity helped me to want anything. Anytime you're just negative, and I don't care if you're in the right, anytime you're in the negative, you're wrong. Anytime you think it should be a certain way, that's a boxing type of thought, and you're wrong. And that's what I love about this era right now. Like, with technology and enough stories and media out there, we can prove that. Like, case in point, I'm going to talk about my neighbor real quick. I can tell he doesn't like a certain type of people. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at him like, okay, I see you feel like you're in the right because your people are a certain way, my people are a certain way. But the minute you start judging, you're in the wrong. And I'm just going to wait for karma to hit and see where karma played out. For sure enough, I felt like he had gotten humbled a couple of times. And I'm just like, you're a person. Like, I don't care what you use people to view them as evil. You can view them as evil all you want. But the minute you act on it, that's even more evil. Yeah. You know, that you're trying to box someone or racially profile someone or not let someone rise up.
I agree.
The act is evil. That act is more evil.
Anytime you're coming from a place, and I think I put spirituality all on this. Like, are you coming from love and compassion and acceptance, or are you coming from fear and lack?
Right.
And not enough, you know, or anger, you know? I think for me,
that's deep, man.
Comes down to
I fuck with you, Wendy. That was deep. Yeah. Well, no, that's deep. People told me all the time, oh, you're a nice guy. You're going to get stepped on. And I never believed that. I thought, no, I think you're just insecure and you can't hang. Yeah. And so what I noticed is that, like, this is what I notice now. Yeah, I'm a good person, but people that think they can step all over me or steal from me, I see it right away.
Yeah.
You can see it in there. You can feel it.
There's like some energy.
The spirits talk to you louder because you're not egotistical. And when you're egotistical, you only listen to self and the glorification of self. But when you're humble, you let like people talk to you and you kind of get it. You know what I mean? Do you meditate?
I do. I try to meditate daily. I'm gonna be honest that lately I've been lazy. I've done like I've done a few meditation retreats. So I've done like one Vipassana.
Oh, wow. You go out there and do it. Okay.
Yeah. I did one of Vipassana in Nepal, which is 11 days, and you're like meditating for 11 hours. Silent.
That's serious shit.
Yeah, it's serious. And then,
what do you see shit? Look at that point.
You know, not for this one, but my very first one, I went to a Buddhist monastery in the forest in Thailand.
Oh, the energy must have been amazing, though.
Oh, it was amazing.
I mean, you feel it,
It was
right?
amazing. Yeah. I was super at peace. The women and men were segregated. And I started reading up on meditation prior to that.
Now, what's up with that?
Well,
because that sounds, but I mean, there's a reason for it.
Why I read up on it?
Well, no, why are the women and men separated?
Oh, because it's Theravada Buddhism. So it's like a type of Thailand Buddhism, and it's just
It's
honestly,
cool, though.
comes
I mean,
down
I
to
get
politics
it. Yeah,
and
it's not
segregation
about
and, like,
feminism or nothing like that. But I'm interested to know,
Yeah.
particularly why.
Yeah. Because, well, let's be honest. Like, if you're a monk, you're basically kind of like a priest, right? So you've decided to give up your life and stay on the male side, like, meditate for the rest of your life and not have judgment. If women come in, what does that create? That creates cravings. That creates desire. That creates the desire for sex.
That's some real psychological.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think
you're looking
that's why
over,
they
kind of creepy while you're meditating.
No, the monks
she's
were
kind of
super.
pretty.
They were nice. Like, I didn't feel that from anyone. So incredible though. Like, that was my best experience.
Yeah.
Just meditating in like the middle of a forest, and like they're like lizards and stuff that used to come in. So there were rules, like you couldn't kill, but the mosquitoes would come when you're meditating. And it's like,
my gosh.
I know. We couldn't even use like.
You should mosquito in nets. I mean, meditated nets.
Yeah. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
But the cell is like huge. It's like really tall. It's like made out of marble. It's incredible.
They want you to ignore the distraction.
They want us to ignore it and to be able to withstand it. It was intense. Like, we only ate once a day.
Yeah.
And it was such a test. It was like, there was this long table. It was called Bindabat. The monks would go and get food from the village. All the people from the village would come and, do this type of morning, I don't know what you would call it, like ceremony with us. And for the lay people and the monks, we would all, walk around the table and we would like put food on our plates, right? And all the food that you put on your plate, you would have to finish. You can't waste it.
Ooh.
So you had 30 minutes to eat everything.
That's the same rules they do at Chinese buffets. They look at you real mad if you have food left over. You go get. They come and like.
That's good.
They just American buffets don't do that, but the Chinese sushi ones.
Yeah, and you have to learn. You have to be like, okay, like, what do I want to eat and what do I not want to eat?
Right. Oh my God.
It's very same lessons.
Oh, they're just breaking down the whole shopping product going on in America. But go ahead. Okay. Yeah.
Like, what don't I want to waste, right?
I got 2 bubbles yesterday. I didn't even drink one.
What?
Yeah, I got the coffee just in case and the one that I wanted. It was stupid.
This is so American.
And the coffee spilled in my car. And I'm like, I'm never getting 2 bobas at the same time.
Yeah. You get it and bring it for me next time.
I will, yeah. That would have been
like
a much better use instead of my
Yeah.
car seat gotten it. So.
I love coffee too. So.
Yeah, I did. Well, yeah, I did too. Only when I'm really tired. Only when I'm really tired. But yeah.
I think that's definitely one of my vices, coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the new jasmine milk teas they have.
Which place?
It's like at a boba place. I don't get the boba though. Okay. And I don't even like the boba necessarily, but I just had that one time. It was amazing.
And that's one of my favorites actually.
Yeah,
but
the jasmine milk.
I'm more coffee.
Yeah.
I used to come to a place when I was like in my rebel years down here. It was like a Hayward karaoke, and it would open. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, on mission.
And they would open up to like all ages.
Yeah, and you could bring in your own alcohol and get drunk. And a little Korean restaurant in the same parking lot across from it.
Yeah. So when you're like Hayward, I was like, cool. Yeah, I know that place.
It's all the same place. Yeah, we're a studio now. No, that place is awesome. All the gangsta Asian people went there just at fun.
They were good at handling their shit. Like when fights broke out, it was like pepper spray.
Wow, really? That. I didn't even know they were fighting. You never heard about them. You never heard about gun violence over there.
Oh, I don't think there was gun violence.
Ever gun violence?
No,
right?
It was more just like physical fighting.
I sang better than you. And
yes,
like,
that one. It's my turn. You already sang enough.
That's the good mic.
Yeah, that's the good mic.
I've always wanted to open up a karaoke place with auto-tune in the mic.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
And you have an engineer there.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
But
anyway.
And then you can send them recordings too, right?
Yeah. Might actually hit.
That'd be cool. You can just set up for here. I'd come.
Thanks.
You try it out.
Yeah. You got to set up karaoke in the schools when you do them.
Okay.
International.
Okay. Yeah. And then you're going to come.
I'll set up the Zoom stuff.
No, you're going to come to
We're going to find the next little. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, really? May.
I'm super down to teach about music and stuff like that.
I would love that. You know what? Because I know a really great artist out there. She's a female artist. And in Nepal, they have their different levels. They have caste levels. And so this is a woman that really was from a low caste level and then became a celebrity. So her big thing is about each village has like their own indigenous dance, right? So she empowers them by like embracing their indigenous dances with the dress up, and I feel like you would love something like that.
I love to media that and show them and present them that to see how
Yeah.
beautiful it. Yeah.
And you can teach about like your style of music as well, right? They
Oh,
would love that.
I'd love to
Kids would love
set
that.
like a little beat system up that they can use and play and stuff and see what they create.
Yes.
Man. No, dude, like the best music lies in the hood.
Yeah, I agree.
Where there's just nothing, because I'm not saying anything about hood or no, it's all about simplicity, man.
Mm-hmm.
And those people deal with simplicity to the 10th degree.
Yeah, like dancing and music is one of their like. I feel like it's like their spiritual calling in a sense, right?
They're very good at it.
They're very
Expression.
good.
African tribes, they're
Yeah.
very good at dance. Like,
Yeah.
you can just see it. Like, no diss to our Asian people. Like, we excel in so many fields, but when I see her do our cultural dances, I'm not really impressed. I'm like, it's cool. When I see the Africans, I'm like, whoa, damn, like, that's cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, we're all
agree.
graceful and shit and being all still. They're
I
just
think
like,
it's very. We're very timed. Like, we're very structured. We're like, oh, we have to do it this way. Like, there's a level of perfectionism.
There's beautifulness.
you know?
There's beautifulness in that.
Yeah.
Our contribution to the world shows. I
Yeah.
mean, look at our cell phones. Look at our cars.
Yeah, true. Very true.
I'm just
very
saying.
True. I
you
agree.
know.
But being free spirited and not, just going with it.
Well, you're the super Asian.
Am I super
The
Asian?
spiritual Asian?
Really?
Unstoppable. Unstoppable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I hope so.
unstoppable. Well, I want to see more of them. A lot of them I mean are very rigid. They don't get my type of thinking.
Yeah.
They judge. Not the newer kids now. They get it.
I actually have a lot of friends that are Asian American that are quite spiritual. Like I have
I
like,
want to know more. Yeah.
yeah, I can, I'll definitely connect you.
I don't feel like a lot of conversations I have are spiritual with my black and Mexican, and I'm not saying that they're not. I just want to see it more. I want to see us on media more, like what you and me are doing. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Representing
yeah.
spiritual talks, doing stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you
Yeah,
part of
me
that
too.
Asian network too?
Asian Hustle Network?
Yeah. Are you on there?
Yeah, I was just on the phone with Maggie Shew today. like,
Okay,
this
go
morning.
Maggie.
Yeah.
I just talked to Maggie too. On
Did you?
Instagram. Yeah, we're supposed to do one too. I think I'm gonna put this podcast on the Asian network.
Yeah, let's do it. That would make me happy.
Yeah. What's going on there?
I mean, coming back to San Francisco, I was like, I was abroad. I didn't really have any Asian American friends. And I was like, let me reconnect.
You're very cultured out
And-
there.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
You're cool with the hood and the business, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
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 All separate, yeah.
I love it. I feel like I have a different personality in every place I go, to be honest.
That's success. Shapeshifter.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I think I
you
adapt well.
People would deem that as fake in high school. No, like you were probably a navigator of groups.
Yes, and I
Right?
learned to assimilate well. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
It-
dude.
so-
That's a superhuman quality.
Really?
Superhuman quality. Not everyone has
I'm
it,
still learning.
and it allows you to navigate in other fields because so many people have problems with that, with politics or anxiety or whatever type of issue. You guys are usually good at sales and international business. Just connecting the dots.
Yeah, well, I think I got it because I have an older sister, right? So I was like, oh, like, what does my older sister want?
You follow her around.
Yeah, I follow her around.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys have a good relationship.
Yeah.
What does she do? Is she in the field of what you do, or
She went the
different, probably?
complete Asian route.
For
like,
sure.
So she's like, she's an advertisement. She's like the responsible one. She like does the safe thing, the responsible
That's
thing.
cool. Yeah,
But I think it allowed me to do the things that I.
that's
learned.
foundation for you in a sense. You can go a little bit wild, but know how to come back to that. And then
Yeah.
I bet she's looking at you do the same thing. Like, yeah, I can go out Thursday night. My sister's crazy.
No, she's like, my sister's crazy.
Yeah, my sister's crazy, so
She's
she's
like-
crazy. I can go out Thursday night. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, there's a balance.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah. So, yeah, we're very different. My brother is an Oakland cop.
Oh my gosh.
He's very white.
That's like the opposite.
Yeah, he's very white. Hey, Brian, your friend's outside. Like, okay, thanks, Quang.
Quang is his name.
Yeah, Quang. Quang is his name. And I felt bad for him because, like, he got bullied and picked on. He was very Asian. And I think I saw that, and I was just like, maybe I'm not going to dress like him. Or,
Oh, he's
you
your
know.
older brother.
Yeah, he's my older brother. He was born in Korea. My mom was pregnant on the plane with me. We were
Wow.
that little ticket.
Oh my gosh.
You know? Yeah.
So you were the first one born here.
Yeah, I was the first one born here. I didn't know anything too. My kids would tell, like, my friends would tell me weird shit. Like, they're gonna deport your parents and leave you here, man. I'm like, the fuck? I was like,
the kids at school told you that?
They just tell me mean shit. I grew up in a pretty rough area in Milpitas.
Oh, okay.
That time, kids were just pretty mean because it was just weird for me, man. I didn't know English till I was like 2nd grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that's normal.
I just know my parents
but
a lot.
what made your mom choose Milpitas? It's like, oh, I'm gonna go to Milpitas. Like,
I don't really know. They came here. They were in San Francisco. They first lived in San Francisco. I didn't know anything about that. They had a fish market. They're their own business.
Wow.
Work 7 days a week.
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur. That's where I got it from. You know, it was weird because I grew up as the black sheep. My
Me
parents
too.
didn't like me. They were like, "Oh, you hang with black people? No, we ain't fucking with you. Your brother's a cop. He's good. We like
He's
him."
good. These labels again. What the heck?
So it was just crazy. Like maybe up to like 4 years ago, my dad, crazy turn of events, goes like, "I want to give you the house. I want you to put that." This is before like he passed. "I want to put the house in your name." And I'm like, I thought you thought I was a fucker. He's like, "Oh, you are, but like you have your own business. Your brother's kind of white. He don't come by. He just sides with his wife a lot. Like we're not messing with that." And I was like,
You know, I think the truth is, it's the rebels and the black sheep.
they come back and be closer with their family. Yeah,
They come back, they're closer with their
we're
families.
spiritual. We're more spiritual. We went through the mud.
Yeah, and we're also we become entrepreneurs as well, right? And I think they
People that
admire
drop out always do.
Yeah, like I'm not following this freaking system.
Yeah. No, we know how to.
Yeah.
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 Well,
And
they
we-
went through the system.
Yeah, like we know how to pave our own path and survive.
Yeah.
So.
We went through it. I think we're not afraid. If we had a traumatizing childhood, I'm sure your parents gave you shit
Oh yeah.
for cutting. And if you
my
went through
gosh.
that, you can go through anything. I'm just saying. Well, so many people want to please their parents. Like my mom, up to like I think maybe even 5 months, you should get a construction job, and I just like, are you crazy? I was like, you just asked me for $5,000. Like I would have never had that. And then I would have been broke 5 months ago with Corona. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're crazy. I was like, oh, you hang around all those people. I'm like, I have my own business. Like,
Well, and why construction?
I don't know, because Koreans, bro, are so weird, bro. They want to like, construction's a safe job. This is a safe job. Being a dentist is a safe job. And I'm like, I would die of boredom.
Yeah.
I want to contribute to my Asian culture.
Yeah.
There's not enough positive Asian male figures.
Yes, please do.
You know,
Especially on spirituality.
yeah, like we need to get arrested more. I'm serious. We need to get
So we can do,
tattooed
like-
up.
Okay.
If you're an Asian male, get tattooed up. Skip school like Wendy and I did.
Yeah.
Get arrested.
What?
Be a badass.
And then become Nelson Mandela, like coming out
And
of the
then
other
straighten up at
pathway.
30.
Yeah.
29, whatever.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Yeah. Straighten up.
I'm
Yeah,
cool.
straighten up after
Cool.
that. Yeah.
I got a pass.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
So when you're going back to Nepal, you get your passport stamped a lot, I bet, right?
I do. I'm going back in February.
Okay.
Yeah. We're hosting 12 women empowerment conferences.
Nice.
So we're teaching entrepreneurship and financial literacy.
The speaking events like Gary Vee does. I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is.
I do know him. It's more like teaching them. It's like workshops to teach them skill sets because right now in Nepal,
Workshops work.
Yeah.
That's school. That's what school should be doing.
Yeah. It should pertain to what each person's interests are. I
That's
think.
what school. Look, so you know Elon Musk. Of course, I don't want to cut you off, but Elon Musk is building a school, and you know what his school's about?
What is it
No
about?
grades.
Oh, I like that.
He just it does no. If you're 10 and I don't care. Do y'all like science? Then go over there.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all like basketball? Go over there.
Yeah.
And they get into it.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's far.
I love that. Wait, where is the school? I want to check this out.
I don't know, but just look it up. It's an interview, and he just talked about it for 10 seconds, and I was blown. Because you know me and grades. And he said, yeah, we don't do grades. That just makes people feel bad.
Yeah.
We just try to get a gauge of what they like and where they're at.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that approach about it.
Phenomenal.
I want to learn where he's building this school at.
Yeah.
But so the schools that we build in Nepal, they're focused on entrepreneurship and financial literacy. So the thing is, a lot of the schools that we worked with, the children and the families are suffering from poverty. And 80% of Nepal is rural, right? So what is going to drive the economy? It's going to be like building businesses.
No, is that a problem because there's there's no jobs out there for them to get educated too, or you hope in the fact that they're educated, you can holler at these other countries like, you should bring your e-commerce help over there. You know,
That's actually something I see long term. Right?
Okay.
And a friend of mine, one of our partners for the organization, he's like a serial entrepreneur and a political leader in Nepal. He's starting an e-commerce platform. So I think the issue is that there's lack of education. There's no schools out there. It's 80% rural, right? They're out in the jungle.
Yeah.
And 6 months out of the year, they don't have food. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
You know, there's no education. They don't know what their resources are. They don't have financial literacy. When they do get resources, they don't know how to manage it. They end up blowing all their resources very quickly, and they don't know how to start businesses, right? They don't know how to manufacture things.
Wow, you're talking about real infrastructure, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, when I first started, I was like, yeah, let's just build a school. And then it just kind of started like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. It was like really just building one wall and then the school. And then I learned a lot.
I love what you're doing because there's this website, and this website just got me so the site's called online.ph, and what I do is I hire people to run my social media in the Philippines for like $1 a day.
I love that.
So I'm like, it's cheap for me. It's a lot pay for them. And
yeah.
what you're doing, I'm like, God, so many countries are going to benefit off this. Like,
Yes.
if you can educate a village, I've always thought it'd be a cool experience. Educate a village, teach them how to do a graphic design.
Yes.
And then, get paid through that website. See what happens to that village. I just thought like that'd be super interesting.
And I love that. I think that's needed more in developing countries to outsource.
What happened to Korea?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Korea. We got a bunch of money, and next thing you know, we got Hyundais and Samsung.
Yeah. And even in China, right? Taobao villages.
What was that?
With Jack Ma, like Alibaba and everything. How the country developed very quickly is they started Taobao villages. All these, China used to be fairly rural. And then,
they're not now.
Yeah, now it's all business
They
owners,
have empty cities. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They just build. I just saw this documentary on 2020. They build cities and they go, okay, and there's no one living in them.
Oh my gosh.
And they go, let's build the next one.
But you know what?
They're planning infrastructure.
Yeah. That's the thing with developing countries, though. I mean, China's not developing, but that sometimes happens, right?
They just develop, with no one planning to move in there. It's weird. They're vacant.
There's
There's
a lot of planning, research, and evaluation and monitoring when it comes to developing countries.
Right.
But a lot of it, I'll be honest, it's trial and error, right? And looking at what other people have done and what's worked and what hasn't worked.
Right.
So it's really kind of like a science experiment. A lot of the times, and you're like, okay, well, if I develop this village, then maybe all the people in these other villages are going to move in and create a district. But I mean, you can't, it's not for sure. You can connect the dots, but you can't get people to actually move. And I think that's part of the process. That's why we really focus on the people themselves. Like, we focus on infrastructure, and then we focus on working with the people so that we can kind of guide them and then guide them to become leaders.
You speak very well. You should have your own podcast, man.
Oh, thank you. That's really
do you
nice.
vlog?
I don't. I really like to speak, though. I do like talking.
You got a vlog. I think you should vlog your whole Nepal experience.
Okay, I want to. I've started creating some videos.
Dude, it's valuable. You don't see it as valuable now. That's going to be valuable in a year or two when someone's trying to do the same thing you are.
And you know what? That's actually one of my goals. Like, that's why I became a coach initially, right? Because I was like, basically, one of my mentors was like, talking about A, B, and C players. And I was like, I'm not sharing my knowledge. I'm not sharing how to start a nonprofit organization. I'm not sharing with people how to build a nonprofit that develops countries suffering from poverty. I can't do it alone. And essentially what I want to do is create more people like myself that are here to make a difference in the world. That are here to change the world, right? That are here to alleviate poverty. So that's exactly what I've said to my friend the other day. I was like, I want to create a lot more videos so that I can teach people exactly how I do it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to create anything. You just have to literally document at your point in life. You just got to document.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
I
that's
can
just
learn how to do that.
Content is gold. I don't know if I've read that somewhere, but like content is gold.
I've never heard of that.
To me, content's the new gold. I felt like that's what I'm in it for. I want to have people like you, and my goal is to have some of this content go viral. That's forever for you.
Yeah.
If you say something poignant.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I feel like it's important to me, like, yes, for the community, it's great to create this global movement of change makers that are here to literally alleviate poverty, right? Because half the world lives in poverty. Half the world lives in poverty, and there's.
I see there's something different, girl. You're going to where the drive's at.
Yeah.
People that are in poverty they got a chip on their shoulder, man.
Yeah. They're.
You're closing that bridge, man. Like,
I hope so.
You're gonna make some pissed off Nepalese rich over there. Like, they want it bad. You know?
Yeah, there are the females. I'll be honest.
They're more driven than the men. Seems like they're more for new age thinking. You could say, like, I'm trying to see what this lady's talking about.
Yeah, and the truth is, like, I'm a bit of a feminist, but you know, when you do actually focus on educating women, that actually solves poverty significantly more than if you were to focus on men and women as a whole, right? Because there's gender inequality in a lot of developing countries. So it would solve a lot of issues, and why a lot of countries stay in poverty is because there's gender inequality. On top of that, studies have proven that when you do educate and empower a woman, a female, a girl, they go back and they return to their communities and give it back to their communities. Whereas men don't always do that.
No, they don't want to tell you shit.
No.
They don't want to tell you anything.
There's a lot of ego.
So I'm in the music business, and the reason why people love my studio so much and my engineers, because all my engineers share a game. And I had to fire everyone at my company to get that culture. Yes. So I had to, like, oh, you're not going to share it? Well, you can get the fuck out.
I love that.
And so I found people that were nerds first, and everyone knows every course here. I found nerds first. I'm going to teach you how to become a good engineer, you know, and I hate engineers that are knowing already, because you guys come off like you're too cool, and I hate that. And, like, you got to have an environment where, I don't know, just my environment. We're just a bunch of dorks, and you can feel open to say anything you want.
I love that. Yeah.
I don't like people that think they're too cool.
Yeah.
Clouds the brain, man.
Makes
Ego.
me not feel smart enough, you know?
Yeah, like they're clowning you for not knowing how to have that white right-wing team. I don't know, I don't know aviation shit. But, like, you don't need to make people feel stupid, and that's the big underlying cloud in all that, is that if we're going to head to a shift, you cannot be afraid of giving that man information. I'm doing this for free, and I'm doing it because it's going to better the world. People love this content. They're going to go on the Instagram. They're going to love you. They're going to just like the content, and they love it, and I know they do, because I'm doing it for free. That tells me so. You know how Jesus Christ got big? He did medical stuff for free in the hood. He healed people.
That's what monks do too, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. You know, but I could, like, Jesus was Instagram. Now, if Jesus had an Instagram back then, he'd be going crazy.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Healing
I'd follow Jesus.
I'd follow you. You're healing my man. You healed my mans. He didn't have no benefits. You healed him.
But I feel like, okay, so my favorite religious, like, leader, I guess, I love the Dalai Lama. Yeah.
I haven't been up on him, so I need to got the glasses, right? That Dalai Lama Asian dude.
He has glasses and without glasses.
He's the Dalai Lama.
He's the Dalai Lama. Yeah, I actually I was traveling through India and ended up in Mikloitganj, where he's exiled from Tibet.
Mikloitganj.
Yeah, and I saw him there in person, but this place felt like heaven, like even better than the monastery. Like when I got there, I was like, I feel like I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
Like, I think because the monks just meditate on compassion all day.
That's great.
There's some vibration to it. Yeah.
When I meditate for 2 hours, the first hour is like fluff.
You meditate for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, not all the time.
That's
but, like, when I meditate, I get serious, man.
I love that.
I do a half-hour stretch. It's got to be 30 minutes straight, painful, like hell.
Yeah.
And then I meditate.
I want to try that.
Dude.
And then I'm gonna text you and
text
tell you
me,
how
please.
I
Yeah. Show me the stretches you're. There's gotta be the right stretches. No, you gotta do all the back one and the neck area.
Okay.
And then you just meditate, and then I don't know, like the first hour, because I try to tell my friends, like, you never achieve clarity. You're fighting for it.
Yeah.
You know, a thought enters and you show it the door, and it's just a bunch of. But after you're done, it's just.
I feel like you understand meditation better than I do. I feel like when I did it in the past, I was like, oh, I'm like checking boxes, you know, like still trying to. Because,
you don't know what it is.
Yeah. And as Asians, I think we're constantly trying to achieve, right? So it's like, oh, I'm abroad. Like, what do I do? Like, let me just check some boxes.
Meditation for me is this, like, our brains work hella fast. Like right now, in maybe 5 seconds of our conversation, I could have thought 8 different stuff. Like,
Yeah.
my laundry? Did I leave the stove on?
Uh-huh.
And so when I meditate, I always feel like I'm awakened and I have more energy. Because all I did was I was just trying to slow my thought process down. So anyone out there that can't meditate, you're just trying to slow your thought process down to where you don't think as many thoughts. But if you can get to a level where you actually don't think any thoughts, like that's crazy Buddhism level.
Have you gotten to a space where
Like very short set, yeah, and my body gets like, it almost passes out because I can literally feel like my neck muscles loosen so much, my blood flows to and I almost feel like I'm gonna pass out. It's crazy the levels that I feel like I've achieved.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because I took a bong rip or whatever, I don't know, but like the clearer I can take myself, especially after I hit the sauna room and I sweat, that's when you get really good meditation.
Yeah.
But it's all about breathing, body posture, where you're at in life.
Yeah.
Can't do it after you're stressed out. Don't even try it.
Do you meditate in the morning or in the evening?
It depends. Like the morning's the most amazing one, but I never feel I have time and I always feel rushed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking about. So if I have something immediately planned, I won't even do it. And I'm just constantly thinking about it. But if it's at night, I just try to choose it when I feel like my heart is a little rushed than it should be.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to calm it down. Or I know I have time. I know I have an hour. So I'm like, I meditate in weird places. Like when, like the line for the bank, I was doing that. And we were just waiting in line. You have the social distance.
I like that.
Yeah, I just meditate in line. I just put my chin down.
That's
and then people are like, excuse me, sir. And I'm like, oh. Let me go back.
That's a good idea. I try in the morning, but I either fall asleep again, right?
It's so good.
Or, yeah.
But it's healing. That's healing. That sleep is way more beneficial than probably the 6 hours you got before.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I am learning how to do it. Like throughout the day, just be like, okay, let's just like sit back and relax.
That's all you gotta do.
That feels great.
Just doing that. But as long as you can try to achieve the non-thought zone, your body is healing. And I feel like so many people would heal because a lot of people think a thought. What happens when you think a thought, your brain has to make up the chemicals to make the emotion for you to feel the thought. So the problem with overthinking is your body is constantly making chemicals for the thought you only had two seconds ago. And so we kind of think a new thought to kind of kill boredom, I feel like.
Yeah. That's a lot. I feel like NLP naturally because that's what they say too, right? Like
I study psychology.
Like visualization, all that stuff.
I don't study psychology at all, but I deal with so many trap rappers that I feel like I know psychology.
What, trap rappers?
I deal with like artists.
Okay.
No, I deal with artists. I deal with like artists that are very emotional. They're like almost the
yeah.
extreme of their sign.
Uh-huh.
And so I've seen every person that my people have said like I know crazy shit. Like I can already tell this artist doesn't have his mom in his life or his dad.
Oh really?
I can tell. I can tell.
How can you tell? Can you tell when you're like, oh, I walked into the door and you're like, this girl doesn't have a mom?
Well, I feel like just knowing you have a tight relationship with your dad. Like you actually talk and you hang out. You can actually like hang with them more than maybe some of your other friends could hang with their dads. Like you can actually talk a little bit. That's what I get from you. You like your dad's comfort, the way that he stands in his posture. You find comfort and stuff like that. That's just my feeling with you. Certain people I can tell like they don't have a mom, or I can tell a lot of kids don't have their dads because the way they outburst. I don't mean to sound messed up, but certain people that can't be more calm during a temporal situation didn't have that dad in their life. They flip out and they get emotional.
Yeah.
And just 70-80% of the time that the dad wasn't there. It was a trait they kind of learned from their mom, who kind of is dysfunctional.
Right.
So you see, we act out as our dysfunctional parents do. You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of truth in that now that I'm reflecting. Yeah. Not on me specifically, but just people that I know. Because I mean, especially
it wasn't
Nepal,
them. It was situational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Did you learn that in psychology?
I just learned that for not trying to take shit so personal because I evaluate. I'm someone to evaluate everything. And was it because I'm Asian and they're black? Is it because of the thing? Is it because I'm rich and they're? I'm trying to go over it all and it was honestly the benefit of having open, honest men tell me what they're really. I felt really insecure when my girl like looked at you and she didn't really acknowledge me the same way because she's an artist. I'm like, bro, I would never. Yeah, but like hearing everyone's vulnerableness and raw truth, it took so much masculinity away from me. It was like, oh, you feel the same shit I do. We feel the same vulnerableness. Like, that's humbling.
I feel like that's key.
Yeah, men don't do that enough.
Like, because I mean, I love self-development, but I think what changed my life was when I took a course where we all were just super vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
Like creating, like let down your ego. Just be like, this is how I felt. This is my insecurity, you know, so that we understand each other better. Right?
You need to look up someone that you look up to, someone you consider a man or a woman that's strong, and they need to tell you the vulnerable shit.
Yeah.
And that's when you will grow as a person. A lot of guys don't want to tell what's going on in your relationship because I have to be the man and my wife has to love. That is bullshit. All of our wives hate us to a degree. Like, just say it, man. We could be so much more advanced if I just told you my situation, how I got through it. But you don't want to go there with me and be at the bottom and be like, bro, we're not the most perfect husbands, you know, And I think that's what a lot of Asian males' problems are, is we don't do that enough, and we feel, I don't know, we don't feel vindicated. And I gotta agree, it's a lot of the women that we choose and go after.
I also think men in relationships, or especially in Asian relationships, the vulnerability comes in being able to say that you don't know it all, right? That you don't know, that you don't have all the answers.
Wow. You know? Yeah, they don't, but they act like they do.
They do.
Yeah.
That's a really big thing.
Yeah. And I think I don't know what that comes from, but America kind of gives us a very bad view of what it is to be a man and what your role is and all that. You know what I mean? And
in Asian culture, too.
In Asian culture, too. You're going to have to fill me in on Asian culture a little bit more.
Patriarchal. Like,
what are Asian men like in the Asian?
Well, I think, you know, from the countries that I have visited,
Nepal,
a lot of Southeast Asian. I lived in Thailand for like a year. Lived in a rural village in Thailand for about a year.
Thailand's very male.
Yeah, it's very. A lot of them are all male dominated.
You're the woman. You do this.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Which makes for laziness.
It does, and it, you know, makes people men more ego driven.
For sure.
Right, and it's like it's interesting because like I think, you know, everybody listens to this one man who tends to be like the powerhouse, or like the leader of this village, or the leader of the household.
The dumbest, most masculine dude possibly.
Oh my gosh.
The worst guy to listen to.
I went on this trekking trip, right? And I trek in the Himalayas, and it's the first time that I actually hired a guide, probably because I have too much ego.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds a little risky.
Yeah, but I was doing a peak climbing expedition. Yeah. So I hired an entire team, and it was me. It was the porter who carried all our tents and boots and harnesses and stuff. There's the climbing Sherpa who had summit Everest twice. And then he's badass.
Yeah.
He was badass. He was so quiet. And then
he's humble and shit.
He's so humble. He's like he grew up in the Everest region, right?
Yeah.
He grew up in like around Lukla and stuff. And then you have like this young man. His name was Sam. And he walks fast. He was younger than I was. Who just couldn't shut up, and it was because of his caste, and it was because of his stature.
His caste or his caste?
His caste, like he's of a higher caste.
Oh,
he's of a higher caste. He's the one who talks the loudest, who talks the most. But I was testing him on stuff. I was like, what is this? What is this? Because I'm a little sassy, and he knew shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need you to guide me. It's cool because you can carry some stuff like
he wanted to be. He was trying to impress you with being loud, and
And I was like, he was young, and I was just like, you don't know anything, and he put our lives in danger. I was really upset, and I was like, the climbing Sherpa knows more than him, but the climbing Sherpa is just not gonna say anything. He's just gonna keep his mouth shut because that's
you
the
have
guy.
To seek wisdom,
that's
man.
The guy,
yeah.
Like for some reason this dummy
yeah.
is the guy that's like dictating everything. I was just like, I can't have respect for someone like this.
So that's what I try to tell a lot of my engineers. You get a great point. That point was great. So I told my engineers that notice like the guy that's loudest around is always the dumbest.
Yes.
Why do you guys listen? That's the music game. In hindsight, like a lot of these guys. So I had a problem with some of my engineers liking people that were known. And I said, just because you feel someone's known and they're the loudest does not make them intelligent.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to gauge intelligence. And
Yeah.
the most intelligent and richest person in the room is shutting the hell up.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go seek him.
Yeah. You have
Good
to
people you have to seek. Bad people will present themselves right in front of you with great marketing, you know?
Yeah. And they'll try to sell themselves.
And sell themselves.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny because during that entire trip, he took me on the whole spiel, right? Of like, first he was trying to hit on me, and then,
Okay, so is that situation?
No, but they have this way, you know,
yeah.
they do this thing,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna hit on you first, and then when I can't get anything from you,
I'll get bitter.
then I'll get bitter, and then
I don't get that.
No,
shit. That's
he hit on me,
weird.
and then he was like, "Let me tell you a sob story about how poor I am, so that I can get money from
my
you
God,
this
he's
way."
Really trying.
And then when I still didn't do that, then he was like, basically told me, "Hey, you're gonna start a business with me next year." I was like, "Oh, okay. You're like telling me that I'm gonna start a business with you next year?" Like, yeah, like it was like
That guy's
very
good for Instagram. Yeah. Well, he's not as good for life necessarily.
Yeah. He's learning though. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he's learning. Sorry, I shouldn't have bashed him on here.
You should have. No, you should have, because like if he sees that, I think I've even been that guy at one point. We all try being someone we're not. We all try getting at women in very different ways to see kind of what works, what doesn't. So I think that was just maybe his way of trying. Like that didn't work.
Yeah.
I always try to tell some of my guy entrepreneur friends do that, and I'm like, bro,
Do they?
you can't hit on like everything. You have to make a choice. But I told him a great piece of advice, and I was like, you know, if you get like with someone that's a girl and you don't hit on her and you actually just help her, she'll kind of be tripping like, why are you helping me? And those people are the end up ones that giving you their best network. See, girls have the best networks because they have all the guys trying to hit on them. So if you just try to friend one and not like hit that's a real entrepreneur, I think you'll get a lot better, you know, results.
And I think girls, we like to help.
You initially like to help.
Yeah.
But then it gets creepy for y'all because people take that as like, oh, she likes me or she's
It's so confusing. It's like, I know they say
it's
like
confusing
don't.
as hell.
Yeah.
Well, even for us guys, I'll admit, like I'm even trying to like decipher for them. I don't know. I can't call it, bro.
But we need to. I think it has to stay to that like very basic. Like, okay, let's just not mix business.
There's a couple of women messing it up for all of y'all.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
That actually happened to me recently. Like I hired someone to shoot a video for me, and then it just got sour because he tried to hit on me.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was weird.
Yeah,
it was weird.
There's a time and place to do it, but you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Men are a little like the ones that have no game. You're just a little too quick.
Yeah, like
she hasn't even figured you out yet, bro.
Yeah. Get to know us.
Yeah, like let her figure you out, and then find your moment, and then it's all about eye contact, and then like knowing, and then you know.
You're good at this.
Yeah,
what,
not a lot of men.
Women do? Like we just.
What was that?
What do we women do?
Well, it's hard to figure y'all out because a lot of y'all that are attracted to a man, because I asked y'all, were you attracted to him? Yeah. Then why, when he looked at you, you just looked away hella scared? Because I was shy.
Yeah, that's true.
You're never gonna. I was like,
true.
that girl got him, and she's trash, but she just let it be known. Yeah, that's my problem.
You're
like,
right, but that's entrepreneurships too. Like I think
gotta
as an
let
entrepreneur, you have
it-
to be like, I'm just gonna go for it. This is
same
what I
thing.
want.
Same thing I
You
told an
have
entrepreneur.
to-
Yeah. You got to be a little bit of a whore.
Yeah.
Not like
Well,
that, but you
have to say what you want.
You have to.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me. And good people don't do that. That's the fucked up part, is that good people say, hey, I can give you the good service, but they won't. The loud, ignorant one does that. So I'm spending a lot of time with my entrepreneurs being like, no, I am telling you to be that guy because you're actually a good person. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You're good. So do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good people don't want to do that.
No, I think we're afraid to say what we want.
We're very
right?
Buddhist. Like, go where you want. And if you come back
you
here,
decide.
it's meant to be.
Yeah, if it's meant to
If
be.
you
Oh my
decide-
gosh,
like,
that's what
come
I
on.
say sometimes.
Like, we're good at life, but Buddhist people, you suck at marketing. Like, you suck.
Okay.
Like, you suck. Like,
It's true though.
You
Like
have
the
to-
more direct that you are, you know, the more chance it is that you're going to actually get what you
it's
want.
trust
right?
for the consumer. If you're
Yeah,
direct
it's
to me, you
trust,
look at me in my
yeah.
face, I'm going to give you that service, and you can't go
Yeah.
anywhere else because I'm going to get, like, I'm like, you got me. You got all my money.
Yeah, like there needs to be a level of confidence.
I just
Yeah,
want the good
agree.
person to do that, not the liar.
Yeah.
I want the guy that's actually about it. Like someone like you, be like, I'm going to take care of you, man. Just look me in the eye and be like, yeah.
I'm gonna take care of you. I want you to come to Nepal.
Here's my wallet. Just take
I
it. I don't even know what you're selling, but I'm buying.
Schools in Nepal.
Yeah, I'm buying. Well, I want to help teach. You know?
Yeah.
Curriculum.
I would love that. Yeah. The kids would love that. They would love that.
I'm down.
It would mean so much.
I
to
got
them.
time.
You're cool too.
You really offered it?
Yeah.
Because I can fly,
100%.
girl.
Yes.
I'm looking at a watch that's not even on my wrist. I'm like down to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'll send you some information.
I gotta get a passport and do all that. Right?
Yeah. It's gonna be great because they'll love you. You're super cool. Like, and you're good with music, right?
I don't know anything about music, but I probably like if I really want to get started, I'd bring the producer with me and he'd show the kids how to make the beats on the laptop, and that would be for me. Like at my point, I would just maybe give some iPads away or some laptops.
Yeah.
But could they charge it up?
Laptops.
Could they charge it up if we gave them one?
Yeah, they can because we're utilizing like biogas and all those things.
So they can get internet?
Yes, they can. And then one thing that we do use, the computers that we use are like Raspberry Pis. You know.
What is that?
It's like a cheap version.
Mobile hotspot?
It's a computer created in the UK where kids assemble it, and it's only like $200 each, and it actually comes with like internet and all that stuff, and comes with resources where kids can learn, you know.
I fucking love technology, dude.
Yeah, technology is amazing.
I love that. What you just said, that was crazy. So they could get this computer for $200 and it works.
Yeah, so we usually sponsor for the computers, and then we bring it to these education centers where kids can learn how to use technology. That's one of our next projects.
I'd love if there could be a site being built. These kids make some beats. I'll have all my clients buy from these beats. Man.
Okay, let me tell you what's cool about this computer. Because you can actually assemble like 1,000 of them to make it a supercomputer.
Oh,
Some people, so this computer, you can create anything with it. You can create anything.
This is crazy.
So
what is it called again?
A Raspberry Pi.
A Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, check that out.
I'm Googling now. Yeah.
But the Pi is like Pi.
Okay. Raspberry Pi. I'm looking this up right now, but I'm going to research it after.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very cool. There's so much out there, you know.
And this is in the UK.
It's based in the UK. It's very well known though.
Okay.
Like some people, if you look on Instagram, actually, there's probably an Instagram for it. There's like a man who created a you can ring the doorbell and then you could actually see who's at your door.
Yeah.
So he created that
out
of
Ring?
this Raspberry Pi.
The Ring app?
I don't know if that's
Is it the
what
Ring?
it
I
is.
think it's like the Ring app you're explaining. Wow, the parts are really cheap.
They're really cheap.
Website's really cool. The keyboard's really cool. Keyboard seems like it's almost the whole computer. That's wow. His keyboard is amazing. It's very revolutionary. It has all the USB ports at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show this
It's very
later,
compact.
but
You can turn it into anything.
that's amazing.
You can turn it into a robot.
all the ports go into the keyboard. Wow. I wish all the computer companies would take note because that's a genius idea.
I feel like I don't know. I'm
genius.
already envisioning you in I'm already envisioning you in this specific village that I want to take you because there's this village called Lamjung, and one of our partners there just built a education center. So they need 12 computers, which we're going to sponsor. And the kids are super. This is like a children's home. It's a village that we're trying to build up and develop. And the kids are super into music and art and all those things.
Oh my God, I gotta bring a bunch of music with me, man.
Yes, yeah, they would love you.
I'm going.
Okay.
I'm vlogging the whole thing.
Yes.
Well, I was all about travel this year anyway, so this is kind of. I think it's a cool story. I'm gonna take this clip. I'm going, and then I'm gonna go. But when are you going?
I'm gonna be there in February. There's gonna be a volunteer trip in May, so
I'm there. Voluntary is in May. What's the weather like? What is the weather like?
Okay, so July and August is monsoon season. Those are the months you don't want to come. May is going to be pretty decent. It'll probably be starting to get quite warm.
Yeah. We'll be in the hundreds. We're in the...
No, probably like the 70s.
Oh!
Right? It's going to be nice weather. It's going to be good weather.
Okay.
If you're doing like January, February, that's like winter. It's going to be freezing. There's going to be
I can do winter.
Snow in the mountains.
I can't do like the hundreds and the humidity. That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
so
cold.
May would be good for you. Like
May sounds
March,
good.
April, May, June, July, August. That's when it starts to get rainy. Monsoon. It's like super rainy.
That doesn't sound attractive.
Yeah.
I've never seen a monsoon on the postcard.
Yeah. You probably see the mountains, right?
Yeah.
Like Everest.
Yeah. Well, I always see. I don't know if it's that image with the donkey and the guy with the backpack and the straw, and then the mountains in the background. There's like
I
a
got
rice
so
field.
many of those.
Yeah, there's like a rice field. I want rice from that rice field, man.
Yeah.
That stuff looks like it's good rice.
Rice is good in Nepal.
Oh my
I mean, that's all they eat.
I heard like the food's better.
Rice and lentils. That's all they eat all day, right?
Lentils are that needs to be more incorporated in the American diet.
Yeah.
Grains and beans and you know.
Well, it's funny because when you say rice and lentils, it's dalbat.
Dalbat.
Yeah. So when you trek, they have this thing. It's like dalbat power 24 hour. Like it's like supposed to be. It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's their life, though.
It's their life.
Rice power, basically.
Yeah, it's rice power.
That is so Asian. It's so Asian. I gotta laugh at that.
That was good. I
I'm
really
gonna be
like
laughing
that.
to myself when he said, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's rice power.
Rice
Have you
power.
seen those like Himalayan prayer flags? You know, it's like super colorful flags.
I haven't.
It's Tibetan Buddhism flags. So
Are those raised at a certain ceremony or something? Or?
they put it on a lot of temples and on top of every mountain peak, right? They're on Everest, they have it. It's like these colorful flags of like red, yellow. But the idea is that, you know, you put your wishes on these flags and then the flags send it up to the heavens, to the gods. Yeah.
This is why you have to vlog when you go out there, because like the stuff I've never seen before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is like a remote village type stuff, right?
You know what the crazy thing is? When I was in aerospace, I had never traveled outside of the States. And I used to sit on my bed. I had like a canopy bed. And in front of my bed, I had a print. And the print was a mountaintop of the Himalayas with these Tibetan Himalayan flags. I never had any idea where it was. No idea in my life.
When you looked at the globe and all, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it was Himalayas. I didn't know anything about the international world. But then I went on a trip to Nepal, just randomly. Was like, cool, you know, like monks are there. Didn't know anything about it, right? Went there, did a trek, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been staring at for like years.
Entire life.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a surreal moment.
I was like, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's like manifestation at its
I've
finest,
never had
right?
that moment. I want that moment.
I think you have.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Vegas and I don't really like, ooh. But...
Then you gotta come international.
Yeah. Well, so I've been to Korea, and my best friend always is like, bro, you have to travel, man. I'm like, I'm great where I'm at. I'm building and I'm.
That's true too. If you're great where you're at, like.
Well, I've always felt good too. I never felt the need. Like this year, I wanted to travel more only because my business is like doing well, and I hate that I'm one of those guys now, but it's doing well.
No, that's great that you're one of those guys because you're a good guy.
Thanks, man. You know what? I always like the struggling me. It's weird. I never almost wanted to make it. I've always just kind of wanted to build and struggle, and I think that's why I try to build a business after like. And I'm not a serial entrepreneur like maybe some of the people you know. I'm pretty small time, but
no, I think you're being humble.
No, I am. I'm pretty small time, but I started from nothing, and I love that story.
Yeah.
But no one wants to really see the Asian male in that story, and I get that. So.
What? I started from nothing.
Yeah, we don't really get that struggle post, but I don't really think we should or we deserve it. You know, I think there's a lot of races that kind of get pinpointed on for racialism. I think Asians get a soft racialism.
We do.
But it's still of an embarrassing type of racism.
Yeah.
I think that men need to be glorified more sexually, and I'm looking for Hollywood to do that.
That's true.
But we need to do that. Yeah. We need to become directors. We need to become writers, and we need to write ourselves in.
Actually, I love this topic. We need to become sexual beings ourselves.
Thank you.
This is an issue, right? Because I feel like a lot of Asians, we're so detached from touch.
Yeah.
Like
we don't hug.
We don't hug. I was
my mom feel weird when I want to hug. I'm like, my mom. She's like, no.
Yeah, and like, so like I'm coming from Spain, right? Where, you know, it's a lot, sexuality is a lot in the culture. You know,
really?
The beaches, everybody's pretty much nude, right? It's like normal.
But it's not, no one's doing nothing
Nobody's
weird.
Like, oh my gosh.
It's like, yeah, like,
you know?
we're weird out
it's
here.
Like, we're weird because we're detached from it. But I think that when we when we actually become more sexual beings, we become better in touch with ourselves.
That's who we
right?
are.
We're we have
apes.
to like masturbate for God's sake and be okay with it and like talk about masturbation. Like
our species of apes used to masturbate in groups together with men. It was not like certain apes do that.
There's
like,
nothing weird about it.
It's social with them.
And I was like thinking about, it's funny, I was driving here and my dog was sitting on my dad's lap.
Yeah.
You know, my dad and stepmom are out there doing something, driving around. And, you know, my dog's sitting on my dad's lap. And I thought to myself, I'm like, this is probably the most affection that my dad gets. And I'm like, he needs more of it.
Yeah.
You know, like I hug my dad and he's super awkward about it. You
Yeah,
know?
he just doesn't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
My dad's
like,
the same way.
But that's connection. That's love. Like we have to feel those things, you know? So when we start to become more sexual beings, when we start to get in touch with ourselves, that's only when I think Hollywood is going to show us as sexual. As
Preach, Wendy.
sexual,
Preach. Hey,
you know?
I had to learn touch through other cultures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other cultures had to embrace you. I don't know how many times I went to a black event and the women, the moms just both head. I'm like, I don't know you. And then she squeezed. You gonna get yourself a plate, honey. I'm like, I feel so welcome and loved here, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my culture never.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
culture.
like crazy. Yeah.
And that's great with COVID. Like, we came up with the COVID handshake.
We did.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why the Asian countries
That's
have
why.
recovered quickly.
Because it was cold all the time. We getting sick. They're like, nah, stop all that touching. Like, I see you over there. It was like bowing. Like, that's enough space.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, I mean, you see it in the, like, China, right? Like, no offense. But they're so disconnected from the planet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it all
They're pretty egocentric.
is correlated.
Yeah.
Like, you're disconnected with your body. You're disconnected with the community. You're disconnected with your partner, your family. And you're disconnected with the planet. So you don't care about how you're...
They're extreme financial.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's how Chinese are, just financial to take care of.
Yeah.
But they do have a spiritual side, man.
They do.
But now it's like they're the American of Americans with the whole financial aspect of globalization.
They are.
I mean, just in my eyes. Like,
I feel like, so it's funny because, I mean, Hong Kong's quite different, but.
Right. There's very different places. Taiwan used to be considered China. They're very different.
Yeah, they're very different. But I also, so I have my VP for the organization. She's from Hong Kong and she's an entrepreneur. She's from a family of entrepreneurs, and her work ethic and like her mentality is just so different. You know, like they are the American of Americans. Like go, do.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
money.
We were teaching. Yeah. I don't know. Asians love white people too in certain aspects of financial degrees and what they've attained, and I don't know. It's great. Hey, you know what? You're like a whole podcast and a half, so I hope you can come back and we can do another one.
Yeah,
I didn't really get to touch on all the topics I wanted to.
Okay.
I usually do an hour over an hour, so I want to end it.
Okay.
But man, I want you to come back.
Yeah, I would love to.
We got to go more into the educational stuff and wanted to deep into that. And I don't think we touched enough on the stuff that you're doing out there. But one, I want to thank you for all the content you gave me. Gave me a lot of good content.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Did you have fun? Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was like
this is a new adulting. This is a new coffee shop.
Yeah, this is the new coffee shop.
You know what I mean? So thanks for coming on, giving the content. I want to know more about your story, but thank you for telling me what you did already. Absolutely. I'm going to share some IG clips with you. But yeah, before you go to Nepal, let's get a second one going. Thank you for coming on. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah. So for my personal account, it's If You Seek Wendy.
Wendy, though, right? If you seek Wendy.
If you seek Wendy.
So IFYOUSEEKWENDY.
Yes. If you seek Wendy. It's kind of like Britney Spears came out with a song a long time ago, If You Seek Amy. So this is If You Seek Wendy.
Yeah, I almost thought it was If You Seek Wendy. But then it's just if you seek Wendy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, like traveler kind of feel.
Yeah.
And then for the organization, it's Building Education, at Building Education.
Wait, is that the website?
The Instagram for.
Oh, the Instagram, the other account. Okay. And you guys have a Facebook page?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page as well. So same thing. My name, Wendy Shew, SHEW. And then the Facebook for the organization is Building Education.
Wendy Shew. Okay. Wendy Shew, she's an innovator. She's definitely an entrepreneurialist. I think she's going into serial entrepreneurialism. She's an educator. Check her out on her movement. I hope there's a GoFundMe for what she's doing in Nepal. She's planning to build 30 schools out there, not 29, not 28, not 77, not 76, but 100.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
in
counting.
3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do it, guys.
Let's do it. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
I want to go out there, see what's happening. I want to have a full life. So I think that's a bucket list for me. Thank you for coming on. You'll see it on my YouTube soon. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you too. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're connected now.
I feel like we have a good connection.
Yeah.
So.
Asian Network.
Yes.
All right. Treetop out. Thank you.